I'm probably going to do a number of these because I want to have a long discussion, I think, on the problem of theories of knowledge and why that politically so matters to us. Okay? And that would involve theories of reality as well. I think I'm going to do the first, my bugbear, just get it out of the way, and then we'll do other videos on actually how things do work. So firstly, how things don't work, or why the right outgunned the left when it came to thinking with the internet. Because that is clearly what's happening, okay? And the left has no real clue, I think. Maybe they do. Maybe I'm doing us all a disservice. Somewhere beyond the Ariège and beyond my hills, somebody is working out, and I just haven't read them because I'm lazy and I've stopped reading because my eyes hurt too much. Possible. So there is two kind of theories about how thought can occur. Now these are ultimately philosophical theories. They're not quite scientific theories, and I might do one on how science fits in this another time. But these are how we think, okay? So one theory would be kind of the democracy of thought. What you do when you have a thought is you have a whole sequence of little thoughts, ideas, remarks, concepts, and somehow you knock them all through. You find a common notion, perhaps, although I'm unhappy using that phrase, that will come obvious later, that unites them all, and bingo, you get your thought. Now this is kind of the, the thought storm. I hate it so much, I've forgotten its name. But if you go to any marketing seminar, they'll always do this. If you go to any people's assembly on the left, they'll always do this. Everybody has a right to a voice. Every opinion is equally valid. From across these valids, we'll see the truth in a kind of a dot to dot of knowledge. Okay? I actually think that's the way AI works, and that's why you get 7 fingers on a hand. And all the art looks the same, and terribly discernible, and ultimately rubbish, because that isn't the way humans think. It might be the way they think. It might be the way they model they think. There are certain whole philosophies based around this is the way we think. But actually thought is much more difficult than that. I mean, real thought. Real thought is a journey into the unknown, where you know bits of it and you don't know other bits of it, and the truth kind of half emerges and half disappears even as you're coming towards it, and you say stupid things to yourself that don't make any sense, and then gradually you work out how they make sense, or why they make sense, or where they make sense, or ideas like time that thought suddenly feel more difficult and unresolved, just as you're resolving other things. It's a very intensive, very almost introspective process, and very, very painful, and very, very, very exciting. For me, it comes with a thirst for knowledge. I have to read, I can't stop. I mean, at the moment I am getting up about 4:30, and that's standard me when I'm thinking, because I can't sleep, because the idea is gripping me. It's kind of like it's not at all like an epileptic attack, but it's like how people understand an epileptic attack is, but isn't actually. Now, the problem is, well, first things first, you will have noticed from how I say it, I find real thinking terribly, terribly, terribly exciting. I would like to say sexy, but I don't like overusing the word. But whatever you want to call it. And difficult and dangerous, and often you go hopelessly wrong and spend a lot of time trying to work something out and it doesn't go, and then you come back to it years later and you go, oh, that was quite a good idea. And then you see different applications because the world's changed. Now that's real thought, okay? It's got nothing about a thought storm and listing a democracy. It's not at all democratic, because all thoughts aren't equally valid. All people are equally valid. All experience is equally valid. But that doesn't mean all conceptions are equally valid. Some are less valid than others. But working out the ones that are actually totally stupid from the ones that have a little bit of the truth is really difficult. And behind this is one of those things I actually hold true about the world. It's a phrase that haunts me from, Little Dorrit, that Affery, like many of the greatest prophets, saw more than she could understand. So Affery was a servant who understood that the house she was living in was falling down, but thought it was ghosts. But she was the only one to understand. And that is often the point. When you're really thinking, you've kind of noticed something that others haven't quite noticed. and yet you can't get it into words. You can't resolve it. And the thought is all about going and resolving it into thought, into something. And if you've been listening carefully, you'll now see the problem. Conspiracy theories are the analogue of thought. I'm going to talk a lot about conspiracy theories over these videos, and what makes a good conspiracy theory and what makes a bad conspiracy theory, and why most of them are crap, and some of them are good, and some of them are right, but not for that reason. But we'll do all of that in a separate video, and I'm going to try and stop myself being subverted. It's the problem of doing these as I go along. I could get very subverted at this point. But the point is that about a conspiracy theory, whether it's of the right, well, really at the moment they are all of the right, is that it is the analogue of genuine thinking. Something is hidden, you're trying to see something. Something is hidden, you're trying to see something. You're talking to others. But unlike my process, that is terribly kind of me, it's just me doing it. A good conspiracy theory will bind together a tribe. So it's got a kind of a collective knowledge. And they're all seeing something, or thinking they're seeing something, and bits are flashing in and flashing out. That's what thought looks like. And that is, of course, the engine of the right. What it's done is it's taken all these people who education abandoned and it said, reject, 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 you're not good enough, and given them a way to think. In a way, the left, for its shame, never did. Because we got hijacked by sods like me. It's one of the reasons I never... That's another story. But anyway, by sods like me, who can understand maths and all the rest of it, we totally subverted the left by making it clever. The right has none of that problem, doesn't need to be clever. But what it needs to be is giving people the tools to actually think. Because thinking is sexy. There you go, I said it. And that means that you can create alternative realities. And that's the polar world we live in. The left thought the internet would follow the rules of thought storm, knock out the truth. It would be obvious then. But it didn't. It followed the rules of a genuine brain and genuine thinking. I don't know that I always knew that. But I see it now.